What's the biggest example of from genius to idiot has there ever been? At my university we had a Harvard-educated physician ruin his career and go to prison because he was hiding cameras in employee bathrooms. I think that qualifies lol. Gerald Ratner made two ill-thought statements during a speech in 1991 in which he called his own products crap and lost $500 million GBP. 1991 GBP at that. Off the value of his company overnight. Costs less than a prawn sandwich from Marks and Spencer. And probably lasts just as long. And people say, how can you sell it for such a low price? I say, because it's total crap. Quote, he said this to a room with a high number of journalists which took the story and ran with it. After this, anyone buying anything for a gift for a loved one from one of Ratner's stores branded themselves as cheap. So sales plummeted. He was ousted as chairman within a year and they had to change their name. Shooting your own company in the foot like this has since become known as the Ratner effect, or doing a Ratner. Linus Pauling. He went from being a preeminent chemist and biochemist to a quack who wrote books claiming that megadoses of vitamin C cured all disease and was the key to an insanely long life. The guy that invented PCR, which was groundbreaking in early DNA research, got a Nobel Prize, though most probably remember it from the COVID days. Went off the rails. Denied that HIV caused AIDS even after it was scientific consensus and spent his time talking to a glowing raccoon in the forest at night. John McAfee. Not sure of the genuous part, but the downfall was legendary. He wrote and marketed the first commercial antivirus software after cutting teeth at NASA. UNIVAC and Xerox as a coder. Might have peaked around $100 million. Then he sold his stake. Told everyone to uninstall his company's product. Retired. Got into recreational drugs. Lost tens of millions. Possibly murdered a man in Belize. Probably fucked a literal whale. Ran for president of the U.S. and then was arrested in Spain for U.S. tax evasion and then either killed himself or was murdered. Don't understand how Sam Bankman-Fried isn't on this list yet. Dude was in magazines being called a prophet and genius. Turns out he was just a fucking idiot the whole time. What an ethical experiment do you think would be interesting if conducted? Breed giant-sized or mini-humans intentionally over generations to see how big or small humans can become. Edit. Guys. It says unethical. Therefore living to a ripe old age in great health wouldn't exactly be necessary for the experiment. Clone a known serial killer. Make let's say 24 or so. Intentionally raise them in a variety of environments including the one they were raised in. Track how many if any become killers. Testing the nature versus nurture argument. Raising a child in a completely 1960s themed atmosphere and then abruptly exposing them to the modern world when they are between the ages of 15 and 18. We've cloned a sheep. Time to clone a human. I feel like this was probably done behind closed doors already. All this stuff about forbidding doping and steroids. What if we take one professional sport and just say go nuts? Take it all. Backed by actual doctors and scientists. Paid by big money. Let's see how many absurd ways we can push the human body. What can it really do? When pushed to the extreme. Cycling or MMA would be preferred. Essentially Lord of the Flies. Take 50 10-year-olds who have never met. Lock them in Walmart or someplace fully stacked with everything they need to survive. Give them no access to the outside world and no way to escape. See what happens. Edit. For the countless people saying, boys and girls alone, this was not anywhere close to anything real. It only lasted 5 days. There were cameramen and support staff who interacted regularly with the kids. And the kids were given direction and tasks to complete. It was probably about as close as people can ethically get to this experiment. But it was not in any way comparable to the real situation. What's the best job search hack that you know? When an application asks you where you heard about them and it has a drop-down menu, I screenshot the drop-down menu so I can look up those companies later. Sometimes they're recruiting agencies, job placement programs, job training programs, all kinds of resources. Apply on the company website rather than the job board such as Indeed, etc. Personally knowing the hiring manager. Copy the job description into your resume. Modify it in your own words. But keep all the major keywords. Double-check the job ad against the official company website if possible. I had a cousin call in a favor for a reference for his friend who was applying for an internship at the company I work for. I checked and the actual internship window had closed a month prior. The friend had been checking on a third-party website, but if they had simply researched the official job advertisement URL, they would have known better. CV is all about you. Cover letter is all about the company, i.e., how you meet their values. Employers love an ego rub and showing you did your research on them. Lastly, search for jobs in the salary bracket above what you are currently earning. Roughly $10,000 higher. You may be surprised at the number of job descriptions in those higher paying roles that actually describe what you already do. So apply for those ones. Bonus. If you're not qualified for those, take note of what you do need to learn to land those roles and search for jobs that will help you bridge that gap. These steps have helped me increase my salary by $30,000 in 5 years through 3 job changes. What scared you so bad as a kid? The FBI warning before movies scared the shit out of me. Going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. The way I sprinted back to my room. The Unsolved Mysteries theme music. The dog with the glowing eyes from the Goosebumps opening. Anyone else fucking terrified of the pool drain in the deep end at the bottom of the pool growing up? 'Cause I sure was. I avoided that thing at all costs. To the point where if a pool ring landed on it I wasn't getting that shit. Fear of drowning. Water scared the fuck out of me. Still kinda does. What was the first video game you played? NES Super Mario Brothers. Subscribe, my brothers.